What day of the week should you run your virtual event on? As a virtual event producer, this is one of the most frequently asked questions that I get, so stay tuned as we dive into how to figure out what the best day of the week to run your virtual event is. Welcome back to another episode of the Virtual Event Tuesday podcast, where we demystify the art of making six figures with a mic and a camera in the exciting world of virtual events. I'm Justin James, your virtual event strategy and tech wizard from Let Your Nerd Be Heard, where we specialize in making your virtual event strategy and tech headaches disappear so you can stay laser focused on your content, offer, and coaching. In today's episode, we're going to look at one of the most frequently asked questions I get. What is the best day to run my virtual event? So the number one question I get when clients come to me and are looking to run their event: when should they run their event? And really they're asking, what is the best day for the attendees to show up? When will I get the most people to show up to my event? And I'd love to tell you there's a magic answer for that there are an exact right best day, but I have run successful events on every single day of the week. And so we need to look at both your business in your life as well as look at your audience to figure out what are the best days for your virtual event. There may be days that work better for your audience and for your life and your business in there. And at the end of the day, it's going to be a little Captain Obvious moment here. It really is going to be the days that your audience is going to actually show up to your event. And I know you're saying, come on, like, really, that's the answer? Well, at the end of the day, it is. But there's a lot that goes in to figuring out that answer. And we're going to dive into how do you actually figure out the answer to that question and figure out the best day for your audience. But before we dig into your audience, we're going to look at your life and your business first, because it's your virtual event and it needs to fit into your life and your business so that you can manage it and you can be happy. You want to create an event and create a business that you actually want to be part of. So for you, what are the best days for you to run your event? Do you have non-negotiables like you don't want to work Saturday and Sunday? If that's the case, Saturday and Sunday might not be the best day to run your virtual event. Now, with that said, if your audience's best day is Saturday and Sunday, and that's when you're going to get the most people to sign up and the most people to show up, you have to look at, is it worth running your event for those couple days to serve the other 360 days a year? It might be worth it for you, or it might not be. It is something to at least look at and consider if that Saturday, Sunday is the absolute best day for your audience and you're going to get the most people to show up. But only you can make that choice of, do you want to work that Saturday or Sunday? If not, then pick a different day of the week and just realize you might not get the best show up rate for your audience, but we're designing the event so it fits into your life and your business. And as long as you go into it knowing you may get a lower show up rate, and you're okay with that in order to hit your non-negotiables, then that's totally fine. There's nothing that says you have to violate your non-negotiable and work that Saturday, Sunday. Do what is best for your life and your business as the starting point for picking the best day to run your event. Now let's look at your audience. Your audience probably has days that are going to work better for them. If they say are a churchgoer, Sundays most likely are not the best day for them because they're going to go to church and they're going to miss a portion of your event or all of your event in there. So if the majority of your audience is going to be church-going people, then don't run your event on Sundays. Pick a different day of the week in there. And then if we look at it, if your audience has, say, a 9-to-5 Monday through Friday job, most of those audiences, the best days to run the event, if say you're going to run a 3-day event, is Friday, Saturday, Sunday, because they only need to take off 1 day of vacation. It's easier to get them to take off a single day of vacation than to ask them to take off multiple days of vacation for your event. Doesn't mean that they won't take multiple days of vacation. It just means that they really want to get the outcomes of your event, and your marketing needs to be that much more on point to get them to take multiple days of vacation. And so if they're Monday through Friday, 9 to 5, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, we have found is the best for the 3-day event so that they only have to take 1 day of vacation in there. And then as well, you want to stay away from public holidays for the country that the majority of your audience is from. You also want to stay away from the religious holidays that the majority of your audience is going to be celebrating. And then there's some culture days that around the world, there's certain culture days, they don't always happen at the same time for some of them, but some like Mother's Day, Easter, those typically aren't great times to run your virtual event. Most people are doing something with family on those days, they have plans, and a virtual event is not going to be the thing that they most likely are going to go to on something like Mother's Day, Easter, 4th of July. So you just have to look at what is your audience's makeup? What is your audience into? What are the things they do? What are their non-negotiables? All of those will help decide what's the best day for your audience to show up. There's no one right answer for this. It all depends on your audience and who the majority of your audience is. And we're talking, when I say audience, your ideal right fit client. Those people that you want to have in your programs, that you would love to work with no matter how many hours it takes, no matter how much you're seeing them, you never get tired of them. That's who should be in your audience. And that's the people you want to design your event around and figure out what are the best days for them to show up to your event. Now, with all this said, no matter what we do, until you actually run your event and actually have data, you won't really know, is it the best day or not? They may tell you it's the best day, but as the saying goes, in God I trust, everyone else bring data. You need the data. If you design your event to be on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, because your audience says that's the best days for them, and then a majority of them don't show up to your event, that was obviously not the best day for some reason, and you'll have to look at that data. But until you run your event and you actually see what is the data, what is your show up rate, you really won't know what is the best day to run your event. And just because you pick a day for your first event doesn't mean it has to stay on those same days for your second event. If the data shows it may be better on a different day, or the data shows it wasn't great on those days and you need to find a different day, feel free in future events to pick different days and try out different days and examine the data. It's always about the data to see who actually is showing up to your virtual event. Data, and then analyze that data. I know most of us don't like to do the data analysis, but that's what's really going to help you out and figure out those best days to run your event. And as well, even on those event days, there is show up strategies that we can cover in a later episode of how do you actually get those people to show up? The ones that have signed up, how do you ensure that they show up on the actual event and don't sign up for the event, but actually show up to the event? That's a whole episode in itself of show up strategies and things to do and when to do those different show up strategies. But for now, the key is to run your event, pick a day, market your event, get people to sign up, run the event, analyze the data, and then go from there for your event. But most important, run your event. Thanks for hanging out with me for an episode of the Virtual Event Tuesday podcast. Remember to like and subscribe so we can reach more virtual event hosts like yourself. And as always, remember, let your nerd be heard.